And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could be with us once again. We're really excited about today's guest. Leo Sullivan is joining us today. He's not only a best-selling author, but someone who's been able to make a name for himself, not only through the written word, but also, of course, through film as well. He's celebrating Hood Riches this month. We're going to talk to him not only about the big event coming up December the 7th, but also what it's been like for him to look at his incredible career and how you all can stay connected with him. Leo, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it, man.
Man, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's good to see you again, too. Matter what, you looking good, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. You as well, man. And you've been doing some amazing things, man. And we're gonna get into Hood Riches because that's what's coming up on December the 7th. But I want to talk to you about this journey for you, man. What has it been like for you to think about where this all began for you, the audience you've been able to build, and now where you find yourself in 2023?
It's been a phenomenal ride. Especially the fact, about 10 years ago, I was homeless,
Hmm.
and I had a dream. And unfortunately, I'm very fortunate. My first book did really well. I've been able to sell millions of copies of books. Stay humble. And by the way, I meant to tell you too, because my agent probably didn't tell you. I do have a movie, Hood Riches, out, but I've also completed a movie based off my national best-selling book, Gangster's Daughter. Uh,
Oh
and so
wow!
it's
I didn't
out.
know.
It stars Jeff Logan on Beat the Cross, Cliff Powell, and what is her name? Uh, Excuse me, forgive me. I'm trying to remember her name. I forget it.
Yeah,
Miss Bates. I apologize. Please forgive me because
you
that's
good.
the worst thing you do is forget somebody's name. I just got
Got
so
you.
much stuff going on trying to remember
I get it.
names and stuff like
I
that.
get it. I totally
Um,
understand.
yeah, and so it's been a great, very interesting ride. At this point right now, I have four films actually finished. And I'm also in the process of re-signing talent for my publishing company, Sullivan Productions. So it's been good. I think
Yeah.
what was interesting is an independent filmmaker um, has a different lane than what conglomerates had accepted. And so during the strike, I was able to stay active, stay
Yes.
productive. One young brother talked to me and he pulled me up on set while I was directing, and it never dawned on me. He's like, "Thank you so much, Mr. Sullivan, man. We really appreciate it." Because it was like 40, my staff was like 40, the whole crew was like about 40 people. He was
Hmm.
like, "Man, we're working right now. Everyone else is shut down, man. I'm gonna thank you so much.
Hmm.
This means the world to me." And I hadn't that thought never crossed, but it made me feel good because we were able to employ people. We were able to keep going, and these holidays for a lot of us are not the best time historically for African Americans.
Hmm.
Stress wise and just
Right.
trying to make ends meet and the materialistic aspects of it, and we lose fact that it's supposed to be about love, but also monetary aspects coming. So it's it's
Yeah.
it's been an interesting ride. It's a blessing from God. I believe a blessing.
Yeah, and I think the blessings, like you just mentioned, though, Leo, is an important part of your story because you've been able to recognize those blessings along the way. Unless you,
Yeah.
like you just said, some things you don't even think about because it's who you are. But I do have to ask you this question because I'm sure people watching this would, you've been able to inspire so many as well as entertain. Could you have imagined, a decade ago, that you would be talking about having a movie starring people like Tawanda Braxton and so many talented cast members? Could
Yeah.
you have imagined that that would be your life?
Yeah. And let me digress.
Hmm.
Also, I finished a film with Columbus Short, Erica Peoples, and Lyric Baze, and that was based off my number one best-selling book, Life Without Hope. And
Mm,
so I just wanted to put that in there. And the reason I put it because you bring it up
yeah,
when you talk about the talent that I work with,
yeah,
and that was to answer your question. Yes, I think a lot of successful people um, will tell you that that's the whole part of the process to aspire and dream and have aspirations and goals and you know. So yeah, I imagine it being, but and I wanted this to happen. And am I shocked? No,
mm,
but this was part of the prayer. You know what I'm trying to say? Like this was
yeah,
part of the prayer. So forever thankful, forever, humble, forever, realize the situation that I'm in, and I'm trying to aspire to get better. But to answer your question, yeah, I prayed for it. Let's put it like that,
Got
And
you.
that's
Got you.
not to be arrogant. That's to be
Right.
humble, be thankful. Being
Right.
thankful. So
Well, I think your talent is undeniable, and as you mentioned, not just in the work you've been able to do, but also bringing people along is not something that's new to you. As someone who's followed you for years, Leo, I know this for myself that not only have you been able to do it for your own career, but also those you've been able to help, in the literary industry. Now, of course, you're doing the same thing as an individual said to you, and helping with production as well. Talk to us about Hood Riches, though. For those who are just finding out about it, talk to them about this film and why it's special for you.
Hood Riches is a phenomenal series that we've shot. Um, in a world that's devoid of the plight of Black life, in a world that's devoid of Black love, in a world that's devoid of generational wealth, that was a passion to me because in a world is voyeuristic, people just their sensation is just watching, and we've been inundated with just so much stuff that I think we've lost our path on what is dear to us and it's family, it's love,
Mhm.
it's generational wealth, it's Black history. So in Hood Riches, I was able to capture that. Tawanda Braxton, she plays Tippy. She's the matriarch out of the family. She can also like read people. So she does seances. She's a gifted person. So you come in, she reads people. And sometimes some of the things that she read is ominous. You know what I'm talking about? And she can see things, the future before it comes. So she does a great job. But there's there's nemesis that come at her. There's challenges and stuff like that. Then we have Crystal Hughes, which is Crystal the doll. She's really, really big on Tubi. Um, she's one of the key players. She's like the stepdaughter that doesn't listen to her mom's advice and end up falling in love with the wrong guy. And the wrong guy just happens to be a brother by the name of Denzel um, Dendrich. He's a great, phenomenal young actor. Um, he's one of the key players in the project, and it's another testament of like the trials and tribulation that Black love go through, and sometimes what
Right.
women to do for love, but also getting caught in the streets because he is a hustler. He is in the streets. But what made this story so incredible and so unique is what they were doing, and I don't want to give too much of the story away, but some
Mhm.
of the hustle and some of the homicides, instead of taking money and splurging it, they're robbing from the bad guys and giving it to the poor and building up the community. Now that's very critical what I'm saying because I'm trying to show us Black love and show us, if we are going to be a product of our environment, let's build our environment. You know what I'm talking about? But
Yeah.
also have the essence of the traditional essence of love. Because anything I've ever worked on, anything I worked on, I am a big proponent of Black love.
Yeah. This is
You
true.
know what I'm talking about? And that's what we're needing because they don't even make love songs anymore. So
Mhm.
there's, so we away from that, the Luther Vandrosses and all that right there. So now it's just you listen to the music and where we at in our society. So that's the good thing about Hood, which is I wanted to instill a side of us that will make us a little bit more cognitive about ourselves, make us look at things underneath the surface, make us look at life as a whole, but also embrace our culture.
Right.
So um,
Exactly. And bringing people together, Leo. The other thing I wanted to ask you about that you have benefited from, what we all have these days, is social media. That's another thing that a decade ago, as we were talking about, what's happened, in your career that we did not have. You've really harnessed that. Talk to us about the role that social media has played in kind of amplifying the messages you're sharing, and of course, sharing projects like Good Riches.
Well, the thing about social media, there's the pros and there's the cons.
Right.
So back in the day, we would have to get a publicist and we would have to sit down and disseminate all these emails and all these letters, and there was snail mail, and you needed postage, and you would hit the ground running. And it was a very daunting task, even for books because in 2000, my God, I think it was 2007 or something like that, came the explosion of ebooks and
Hmm.
Amazon and and so prior to then, our promo was like our books came out and we were just like everybody was looking at the Essence bestsellers list or other conglomerates and mom and pop stores were so incredible and so what ended up happening was the demise of that and the conglomerate social media came. And social media is great. It's fantastic. We save a lot of money. A lot of young people don't realize, what they do, but they don't understand the dynamics, the dichotomy of old school when we would, to get our brand out there, we would do and you can still utilize not the email blast and,
Hmm.
you know, uh, and things of that nature. But social media is really, really good if used correctly
Right.
if used correctly.
Hmm.
I would suggest it, and just having a staff and a team and to be consistent. I'm talking about to be consistent, utilize it, establish yourself, and also it's which I haven't been doing it, but I need to. Um, Photographers, bringing in professional photographers, try to make your work as pristine, as clean as possible.
Hmm.
And it's very, 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 very relevant right now in the market. And so
Right.
I utilize that, not as best as I should, because when you're independent, and we talked about independent earlier, when
Yeah.
you're independent, if you do too many things, some things are going to suffer.
Yes. Exactly.
And
Exactly. Well,
so,
you've been really
right,
able to surround yourself
you,
with good people, though.
good people, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I try not to make be too thin because when I'm writing and directing, I try to stay honed in on that, and which is a great thing. But social media is very critical now. I do have issues with it because it can with the apparatus of AI that
Yeah.
we have adopted in the wrong hands, it could be problematic, and it's
Right.
going to be problematic. So it just, but I love it. I'm talking about, I just wish I had more tenacity, more time,
Yeah.
so for that. As we're a little older now, it's like, we got to cut straight to the chase and keep our eye on the prize, but I
Hmm.
also know how relevant that is, So yeah, I think social media is incredible. So
Yeah.
I try to utilize it as much as possible. So
We'll
yeah.
definitely want our audience to make sure they're staying connected with you, Leo. I'm so glad we had a chance to have this time. Again, everyone, Leo Sullivan has been our guest, best-selling author,
Thank you so
director.
much.
Hood
Thank you so
Riches
much.
is the new project.
Hood
Again,
Riches.
yeah, and
And
you have the. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Leo. Go ahead.
okay, we have Hood Riches, but we
Mhm.
also make sure y'all check out Life Without Hope. The first one. The first one is on Tubi, and we have Life Without Hope 2, starring Columbus Short, Erica Peoples. It's on Tubi right now, and it will be on All Black Network next year, which is where
Oh
everyone's looking forward to
wow!
that. Yeah.
Congratulations!
And
Wow.
then we have Gangster's Daughter. That we any moment we're waiting for them to give us a date. Gangster's Daughter will be premiered on Tubi and Peacock. So those
Okay.
two networks right there. That's the series that we finished,
Mhm.
and we have Hood Riches, which is another series. Now this is the thing, so no one's confused. I'm currently sitting on 4 films that we're waiting. So Hood Riches is coming out, but when Gangster's Daughter, we're waiting for the networks to give us a date. So the machine doesn't stop. So I've already done the premiere for Gangster's Daughter. It was it was an all-star cast. It was very good. And so this week, the 7th, at Monticello in Atlanta, Georgia, we're doing another premiere, and that premiere is with Hood Riches, and we all
Mhm.
have a great cast. It's also will be a networking event at Club Monticello in Atlanta, Georgia. Just look it up or go to my page, Leo L. Sullivan on Instagram, or author Leo Sullivan on Facebook.
Okay.
All right. And
And we'll make
thank you
sure that
so
we link
much,
that
man. It's
too.
good to see you again, my
Man,
brother,
man,
man.
same here, man.
God,
Keep
God
up
is
the great
good.
work, and Leo, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime again, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Have a great holiday and God bless.
Hey, same to you, man. And we
All
thank
right.
your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents and Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you, my brother.